Okay, we're here again dealing with number systems. Now I'm going to show you how to go from base 10 numbers and convert them to base 2 numbers. I'm going to explain a little bit of the theory just to show you how it works, and then I'll show you the steps to follow. Okay, it's not really the theory, I just want to show you how you can pull apart numbers. So let's just say the number we have is 157. Okay? How do we understand that? Like, what does this mean? We already went through by saying, this is the ones place, this is the tens place, and that kind of thing. I just want to show you one other thing that you can do, and that is, what if I was to divide this number by its base? So I'm going to divide this number by 10. And so if I divide this number by 10, you could say, okay, I know that, Mr. Steen, it's 15.7. Well, wait a minute. Oh, by the way, I like to write my sevens like that. Wait a minute, I actually don't even want you to think that hard. I want you to say, this is 15, and I don't know what to do with that 7 because I don't understand decimals, so I'm going to put a remainder 7 over here. Okay? So what you can see by when I divided this by 10 and I put the remainder, I kind of peeled off the ones value and I put it over here by itself, right? And now I'm down to 15. And I'm going to divide 15 by 10. And I'm going to say, well, now I have 1 left, and there was 5 remainders. And now I can see, oh, I just pulled the tens place and I kind of put it all up here by itself. And then what if I was to divide 10 into 1? And then I would say, well, now I have 0, there's nothing left, but I would have a 1 remainder. And then you could say, well, I just pulled the 100s value and I put it up here as this remainder. Because this number, 157, is the same as this number, right? So it's just kind of weird that you can do that. You can kind of peel these numbers away from each other and be able to deal with each digit individually by going through a division system. That is exactly the same thing that we're going to do in order to convert numbers. We're going to stay 157 again. And this is in base 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide it by the base we want to convert it into 2. So we want to say, what happens if I start pulling apart these digits and seeing what they look like in base 2 instead of pulling them apart with base 10? Now, step number 1 to do this is write the number. All I can say is write the number low, because I am going to do something where I'm going to divide, and when I divide, I go upwards. Now, some people, they just have taken this and they said, oh, well, what if I just write the answer to this problem underneath it, and that way I can work down. That works as well, though there's a couple steps you have to be careful of, because if I work up, then my answer is going to go up, and if you work down, your answer is going to go down, so you just have to look at it correctly. But you can do that, but I'm going to say, write my number down here, and I'm going to work my way up as I would do division. So, divide by 2, keep the remainder. In other words, I don't want to say there's a half of something left. I just want to say there's a whole number and then here's how much is left. Now, here's the hardest part of the whole problem. What is 157 divided by 2? Well, I know there's a remainder because it's an odd number, and 2 would, this number should be a 6, right? So I could say that's a 6, and this would be like 76 plus 76. That's not a 6. What am I saying? 6. Let's try that again. A 3 times, that makes 6. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So 73 plus 73, it's not that, right? It must be 83. Or, wow, I'm embarrassing myself. See, that was 146, and we have to get all the way up to 157, so that's not going to do it. So it must be 78. There we go. That's the number. And so, here's what you do. You take your calculator and you say 157 divided by 2 on your calculator, and it will tell you 78, right? 78. It will tell you 78.5, but you got to throw away the 0.5. You got to say, no, I have to keep a whole number here, so I'm going to put a remainder 1 instead. 78 plus 78 is 6, 156. Wow. Turns out I had no idea what the answer to that was. Okay, so I did it once. Step 3, do it again until The answer is 0. So, I'm going to take this number, I'm going to divide it by 2. And the answer was not 0, the answer was 78, so I'm going to divide this again. Now, hopefully this time I've learned a few lessons, and I can say it's probably going to be not a 4, but a 9, and let's see, 70 would be about 35, so this is probably 39. And I might check that on my calculator. I might check it by going backwards. 39 plus 39 is 8, carry the 178. Okay, thank goodness, I got it right that time. Was there any remainder? No, this is an even number. There was 0 remainder, so I'm going to write that over there. Is this answer 0? No, it's not. Not is the remainder 0. Is this answer right here 0? It is not. I divide by 2 again. The good news is, you start with a high number, they keep getting smaller, they should get easier to do. Now I know what 2 divided by 40 is, that'd be 20. So I'm guessing that this is 19 this time, with a remainder of 1. Alright, I'm getting smarter. I do it again. 19, oh, see now I'm seeing a pattern. This is divided, that would be like saying 10 times 2, so it must be saying 9 times 2 with a remainder of 1. Wow, look at all these odd numbers, right? It's really much more fun when you get even numbers. Okay, this is 4, with the remainder of 1. Finally, an even number. All right, I know 4 divided by 2 is 2, with the remainder of 0. Is this answer, you're like, how long do I have to do this? Is this answer a 0 yet? No, it's not. It's not a 0, so I have to keep going. And that's why I should have even started this dividing by down here, because now I'm way up towards the top of the screen. 2 divided by 2 is 1, with a 0 remainder. For some reason, the lower we go, the harder our brains have of remembering to put the remainder down, because we all know what 4 divided by 2 is. We all know what 2 divided by 2 is. We have to write the remainders down. And now you think, oh, there's a 1 left up here. Surely I'm done. No. And don't call me Shirley. 1 divided by 2 is 0, with a remainder of 1. This will be the last step every single time. It will always end with this step. If you don't get 1 divided by 2 with 0 as the answer, you're not done yet. Now, what I should get is I should get 8 numbers. I mean, not every time I do this, but this time I happen to know I need 8 numbers. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I must have done it correctly. Now, the answer, and again, because I worked my way up, the answer is binary numbers working my way down. So, going down, write the remainders. I don't even know if you can really read this, but left to right. So in other words, take this number, write it over here. Take this number, write it here. This one, 1, you probably can't see, I'm blocking it. There's 3 1s in a row. Then I had a 0. Then I had a 1. And I would say that 157 in base 10 is 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1 in base 2. That is the same number I did the other direction, and so I should be able to go back and watch my last video and see if that's the number I wrote on the board at the beginning. I want to double check, so I want to quick do a conversion the other way, because usually we can do conversions this way a lot faster. And it was 128 plus 16 plus 13, right? I'm doing this one, this one, this one. That's 13 plus 16 plus 128, and I get that nice number of 157. So 157 equals 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Base 2. And so you using division, seeing that everything that I have left over here when I divide is a 1 or a 0, that's binary. And so I write it down, and the trickiest part of this, there's 2 tricks that people get wrong. Well, number 1, you could get any of these numbers wrong. Let's just say that I got this number wrong, because I was getting it wrong. If I get this number wrong, I'm going to get this number wrong, this number wrong, this number wrong, right? If you get one of these wrong in the middle, everything above it's messed up. So check these numbers. Be very careful, especially at the beginning when you're doing these. The second thing people get wrong, they forget to go all the way to 0. So many people stop at this stage right here, and they end up writing this, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. The question I can ask you is, does it make any sense to start a number with 0? Right? That doesn't make any sense. So I should always start a number with 1, which is why that always has to be my last step, because I should always get a remainder 1 at the end. And then the third thing that people do wrong, they write these down in the wrong order. So if I went this way, it would be a very different answer. I need to go this way. Again, people, if you worked your way backwards, if you said, I want to write the answers down this way so I don't have to write it low on the page every time, then your numbers would be, down here it would be 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, and you would write it down this way, and you would be wrong, because since you went down, you have to do the answers up. But I go up first and do my answers down. All right, that's how you do this. Good luck.